Today, in today's class, we'll see derivation of Euler's equation. So 99.9% it is sure they will ask that question. Okay. And from module 4 and 5, you can say this is the first theory part. Okay, I'll just tell you the statement of this. Usually, the question will be like they'll give the statement of Euler's equation and they will ask you to like this is the statement. They in other part no the question will be like state and prove Euler's equation. Okay, that part will not be there. Usually they'll give the statement, but then also you be prepared for the question if they ask derive Euler's equation. Okay, now see, you can just see the statement. A necessary condition for the integral I, which is nothing but integration of f of x y y dash with respect to x between the limits x1 to x2, where if you take y of x1 for this lower limit, it is denoted as y1 and y of x2 is denoted as y2. To be to be an extremum is that, so this equation has to satisfy dou f by dou y minus d by dx of dou f by dou y dash is equal to 0. So we have to just take necessary condition. Last time I discussed about it. It is just like if this is true, then we have to get this. Okay, if P is true, then we have to get Q. This is what the necessary condition means. Now here, to explain about this, now extremum. Extremum means, do you have an idea? Extremum. Huh? Yeah, maxima or minima. So extremum will not be only maxima or only minima. Together it is maybe maxima, maybe minima. Okay, so that is in general called as extremum. So for this functional. Now why it is functional? Because we have seen functional means a integration on a function and variation means differentiation of that function, delta. Okay, so this for this functional, to have an maxima or minima, what it has to satisfy this equation. Actually, this equation, what is written, no, this is called as Euler's equation. Now, this is very important because this calculus of variation till the end part, till the last part, we are repeatedly using this. So be clear, these are dou and this is d. Okay, now. So here about this, I'll just show you the thing, what how is the construction being taken up. So what they have given, okay. So what we have to take a coordinate system, which is xy. Okay, xy coordinate. Now here we are going to take one curve. This like we have to take the geometrical part. So first curve will take it as y equal to y of x. Okay, y equal to y of x. Here, this is y of x. Okay, suppose the endpoints of this are P and Q. Okay, are you getting the thing? So this is, we have a curve y of x with the endpoints P and Q. Even the points are fixed here. So suppose we'll take the x coordinate of P as x1. Then actually here they have given in the question you can see when x is x1, what is y? Y is y1. When x is x2, what is y? Y is y2. So that means if suppose x coordinate is x1, what will be the y coordinate? Because how we are taking the curve, it is a function of x. So as x changes, there is a change in y. So what do you expect? What should be the y coordinate? y1. Similarly, suppose here now we have to take, and why we have to take only x1, x2, just see the limits. Do you know if the limit says x1 to x2 means you have to take the interval from x1 to x2 only, not beyond that. If it is 0 to 1, you have to take now between 0 to 1 only. So here the second point will take, that is the for q will take the x coordinate as x2. What is the y coordinate? It is y2. This is the part we have to take. Now we have to prove Euler's equation. For that, we'll take a little bit of construction. Now, for this curve, no, I'll just take one more curve. I'll take one more curve such that I'll keep the end point same. I'll keep end point same and I'll call this curve as y of x plus h into alpha of x. Okay. Now, if I take this distance, suppose, if I take this much of distance, will you tell me what this distance should be? This is some curve A, this is some curve A plus B. So what is the difference? What is this length? Very good. H into alpha of x. All of you agree with this? See, if suppose this is not there, this is not there, isn't it this curve would have been here? So by adding some quantity, you are getting one more curve. But what restriction we are keeping? Endpoint should be same. This is to prove the Euler's equation. Extra construction how you used to take. Okay. Now, if I take this part, okay, tell me what is here. Which value? What I have to write here? Can you see? Are you see like able to see it properly, or I have to draw bigger one? Hope it is clear. Huh? Tell me what is this? What is this point? X1. Okay. So what is this length? It requires your geometry, nothing much. For this point, no, if you know the coordinates. Yeah, this is the x coordinate and this distance is nothing but distance. Okay, from origin and y coordinate. So this is y1. Similarly, if I just take here, what is this? This is x2 and this distance is nothing but y2. Yeah, if I take here, will you tell me what it should be? It is some x, correct? So that this length is nothing but some y. So now nothing, we are just taking first the curve y of x with the points p and q. Keeping the end point same, we are constructing, we are taking one more curve. This is called as neighboring curve. Okay. Just by adding some quantity h alpha of x. So that if you take this h alpha of x, this is going to be a curve y of x plus h alpha of x. Is the construction clear to you? On this, we are going to prove the Euler's equation. Now, while taking the curve, this neighboring curve will put one condition. The condition is if you just take for the neighboring curve, if you take at P, if you take the value of alpha of x1, suppose, if you take, just take it as 0. At P, if you take alpha of x1, it is 0. Similarly, at Q, you have x2 points, so take alpha of x2 as 0. This is one extra thing we have to take. We have taken a little construction, extra part with the condition. Okay. Yes. So this is what it is all explained over here. So this is what we have the curve, then a neighboring curve, distance difference is h alpha of x, endpoints p and q. Okay. Now with the restriction, just see, let I be, and they have given that for the integral to be extremum. So we just take that extremum means maybe maxima or minima. We just take this I is maximum, extremum along this curve y of x. This is one thing I forgot. Okay, so see, actually, when you take maxima and minima, no, you have like this. Suppose the curve is like this. So we say this is minima, this is maxima. Okay, this is geometrically. Theoretically, we have a concept. What is that? If suppose y is a function of x, we just differentiate with respect to x. First order derivative should be 0. Then we'll see second order derivative. This is what is theoretical procedure. And what I am saying here, this is about the geometrical part. So if you draw geometrically, you can easily, clearly you can see maxima and minima for the curves. Similarly, what we are taking here, we have I, which is nothing but a functional f of x, y, y dash. We are just taking this I between the limits x1 to x2 is extremum along which curve? Along the curve y of x. Okay. Now, just tell me, we know that it is extremum along this curve. Okay. Now, I want this curve also should coincide with this because I want the value to be extremum. I want this neighboring curve should coincide with this. So, will you tell me what should be the value now? Okay, what condition we should have? This above curve should coincide with the below curve. No, no, no. In this curve only you have to get one condition. Huh? Now I want y of x only. What this value should be then? 0. Okay. Now alpha of x is some arbitrary value. So we'll not take this as 0. But what we can take now? Suppose what happens if h is 0? If h is 0, this quantity becomes 0. Agree? So isn't it your curve? This curve coincides with this. So this curve is extremum along, this I is extremum along this curve. And our neighboring curve is going to coincide with this when h equal to 0. So we conclude now with all this, we say that I is extremum, okay, when, what is the condition? H equal to 0. H equal to 0. That means actually you are getting a critical point. Okay, I explained last time what is a critical point. When you differentiate first order derivative to 0, no, you'll get 1 point, the value of x. Then that is called as critical point. Similarly, we are getting a condition I is extremum when h equal to 0. Agree? Is this point clear? Is the point clear? Okay. Now, for any function to have an extremum, maxima or minima, what is a necessary condition? What is a necessary condition? You have written the result. Last time you have written this. Second order alla. Necessary condition ಕೇಳಾತೀನಿ. Read out the first result what you have written. Y equal to f of x has maxima or minima if huh? First order should be 0. This is necessary condition. Either necessary condition, either sufficient condition. Okay. So here we are having a function I. We are saying that it is maxima or minima with some condition. So what should happen if I take di by dh, suppose? What should be the value of this? For any function to have extremum, derivative of that function with respect to the independent variable should be 0. Correct? From that we'll get critical point. Then we'll see, substitute that in the second order. Less than means maxima, greater means minima. This is the whole procedure. Correct? Now what we are saying, we have got a critical point. Huh? At this critical point, what should be the value of di by dh? 0. Correct? So that from this we'll get that di by dh equal to 0 100% when h equal to 0, because this is a critical point. Okay, critical point we get by equating the first order derivative to 0. Here you have the independent variable as x. Now this is h. So I have to differentiate I with respect to h only. If I take di by dx equal to 0, it is no meaning. Agree? Because what is the point you are getting? You are not getting in terms of x, you are getting in terms of h. So our conclusion, what we are getting here is di by dh should be 0 when h equal to 0. Now, next what we are going to do is, we are going to find di by dh. We are going to equate that to 0 and we are going to take when h equal to 0. Are you getting the point? If anyone not understood, please raise the question. I'll explain. But for that, you should know about maxima minima. Even last time it is being discussed. Okay, no one is raising. That means you are understanding. Very good. So here we are going to find derivative of I with respect to h, and we are going to equate it to 0 when h equal to 0. If you take like this, you are ultimately going to end up with Euler's equation. Okay, so all the construction part, everything is being given. Okay, I'll just read out. Concentrate, it's not difficult. So suppose I be an extremum along some curve y of x passing through the points p and q. Let y equal to y of x plus h into alpha of x be the neighboring curve, where we are going to take h as small quantity joining the same points p and q, with the condition that alpha of x1 is 0 at p and alpha of x2 is 0 at q. We are putting some condition over there, and this is to be used at the end. So don't forget. When h equal to 0, these two curves are going to coincide, right? When this h quantity is 0, obviously this curve will coincide with y of x. What will happen? That time I becomes extremum, because what is being told here? I is extremum along the curve y of x. Done? Is this paragraph clear? Simple thing. This, okay. Now, if I take my curve as y of x in I, only if I keep y of x, I'll not, if I don't use this, suppose, if I don't use it, I cannot put the condition for h. Agree? Where is h? H is in the neighboring curve. So, we have to write our function which is given here. Okay. This is given for the curve y of x. Same thing we have to write it for the neighboring curve y of x plus h into alpha of x. Means, see, I'm not telling anything different. Just you have I as x1 to x2 f of x y dash. I told throughout the topic we are going to refer such function. Now, if do you have any h in this? Any h is present here? Can you see any h? No. Okay. That means we have to apply the same thing, because we have to use this condition. For this, will use it, okay, for the neighboring curve. So see, this is now no change with the limits. F of, is there any change in x in the neighboring curve? In this neighboring curve, can you see any change in x? Is x only, or is it has changed? Huh? X is x only, no change. We are taking the y value as the neighboring curve. What is that? Y of x plus h into alpha of x. Agree? Y is y of x plus h into alpha of x. So what is y dash? Y dash means dy by dx. You have to differentiate this with respect to x, correct? So this is what? If I differentiate, y of x becomes, answer faster, I am not started with main part. What is the derivative of y of x? Y dash of x plus h is h, differentiation of alpha of x. Very good. Alpha dash of x. There is no x here. Can you see a x along with h? No. That's why I'm keeping it as same. So what will be the change in y dash? Y dash of x plus h into alpha dash of x. Correct? So our functional I is, we have to take in this format. And for this functional, we are going to find di by dh, equate it to 0 when h equal to 0, and let us see what is the condition we get. Okay, now this is your I. Now I want di by dh. How to get di by dh? Means what operation we have to apply? Differentiation with respect to what? So this is like you are, for this thing, no, you are differentiating with respect to h. So this is derivative of I with respect to h. This is derivative of this integral with respect to h. Correct? Now this, now just see this, what you have, this integral, no, this is with respect to what? This is with respect to x, and you are differentiating with respect to h. So will you get a function, or you have to apply some concept? We have to apply Leibniz rule. You have written that. Fifth point, Leibniz rule for differentiation under integral sign. Agree with that? What that rule says? According to the rule, you have to take the derivative inside the integral. Only changes, instead of d, it becomes dou. So this is integration of dou by dou h of same thing. Am I correct? You can say this is y, this is y dash. I'm just writing in short. I'll give you full notes and everything. Main part, how the steps comes. Nothing much. Leibniz rule. Leibniz rule, fifth point, what I have given last class. If you take this differentiation inside, it reduces to partial derivative. Okay. Now, this is, you have to differentiate a function of how many variables? How many variables are there in the bracket? 3. So, differentiation of 3 variables, how we do it actually? It's like derivative of this inside the bracket 3 variables with respect to h. This you can deal with. Okay, this you have to apply here actually, chain rule. Chain rule. Agree? Yeah, let us apply it. I have told you one easy way. See, integration is going to be the same, x1 to x2 only. So derivative, we want derivative with respect to h of which function? F. Okay, it is just like, okay, do you remember we have written one shortcut form? We want actually derivative of f with respect to h. How many variables in between? 3. So we have to write this quantity 3 times by putting plus sign. Am I right? Isn't it the same thing? Derivative of f with respect to h. Derivative of f with respect to h. H. Done? Okay. Now what will come first here? X. Dou x, dou x. Second, Dou y. Next, third, dou y dash. Your chain rule is done. Okay. After this, let us find the quantities. Now tell me, is x related to h or is h related to x? In all explained thing, have you seen whether h is related to x or no? No. So what happens to this quantity? Derivative of this x with respect to h. What is the value of this? If suppose you have y as a function of x, you can say derivative of y with respect to x is 0. If I want to find derivative of y with respect to t, suppose, what is the value for this function? Huh? If you have y as a function of x, I am finding derivative of y with respect to t or some a. What is the value? Saturday morning, I thought you will be fresh, 9 o'clock class. Answer fast. But zero. Why? There is no relation. You cannot see anything is it's not related only. So these two are not related means what is the value of this? Zero. Okay, done. So this will keep as it is. What is this meaning? Derivative of y with respect to h. Let us see what is our y. Just see here. What is y? Y is y of x plus h into alpha of x. From this relation, we are going to find derivative of this y with respect to h. It's a partial. Partial means we have to treat y as a function of h only. Other variable we have to treat them as constant. Okay, so that means for this function, will you tell me what is derivative of this y with respect to h? What is the derivative of this with respect to h? Y of x? 0 plus alpha of x constant. Correct? Constant. H with respect to h is 1. So what is the value of dou y by dou h? Alpha of x. Can you guess what should be the value then? Derivative of y dash with respect to h. Alpha dash. It's clear from here. Just see the relation. Y dash is equal to this. If I differentiate this y dash with respect to h, this becomes 0. This is alpha dash of x and h is 1. Am I right? So this is 0, this is alpha of x and this is alpha dash of x. Let us substitute. So this is, okay, I'll just write it in the next page. What left side we have di by dh. We have di by dh. Am I right? Integration x1 to x2. What we have written? Dou f by dou x into 0 means 0 means 0. So first term is 0 plus second term dou f by dou y. What we have got? Dou y by dou h. Alpha of x plus dou f by dou y dash. And this is alpha dash of x. Correct? So I'll leave this 0. So we are getting the quantity like this. Okay. Now we have to get a Euler's equation. For that we'll do some simplification. That is, we'll keep this term as it is. We'll not disturb it. Why? Because if you see your Euler's equation, no? So actually your Euler's equation is nothing but huh, this part dou f by dou y. We are getting that dou f by dou y. But second part, if you see, no, this is little complicated. So that we have to get from second term. Okay. So keep in mind this first term will not disturb. We'll keep it as it is. And second term, we have it as okay. So first thing, no, first thing, I forgot one thing. If you have integration of u plus v, integration of u plus v, how you write? Integration of u plus integration of v, isn't it? correct? So this integration is for this function as well as for this function. So I'll keep it for first function as it is. I'll not disturb it. For second one, no, this is like x1 to x2. x1 to x2. Dou f upon dou y dash alpha dash of x. First, we are going to split it. Integration is for both. So first term will keep as it is, means this is same. Second term, if you observe, this is now integration of what type of function you have. Means what concept we have to apply. This is one function and this is one function. Agree? In between what you have? What do you have? Product. Correct? So it is nothing but integration by parts. Agree? In integration by parts, one function has to be u, another function has to be v. I'll choose my function v as alpha dash because, okay, what is the integration of alpha dash? Let us see who will give the answer. Integration of alpha dash of x. Very good. Alpha of x. So it will be easy for us to get back. If I want to integrate this, no, very complicated. Agree? So this first function will treat it as u and second function will treat it as v. Your written integration of u into v will apply the same thing. What is integration of u into v? We have to keep u as it is or v as it is. U as it is means dou f by dou y dash as it is. So integration of alpha dash. Shall I write alpha? Huh? If not clear, I'm even ready. I'll just tell you what it is. See, alpha dash means, isn't it? It is d by dx of alpha of x. Am I correct? Alpha dash is derivative of alpha of x with respect to x. So this you are integrating again with respect to x. So integration of differentiation of a function with respect to same variable, you will get back the function alpha of x. Correct? Likewise, the same thing if you apply. So integration of alpha dash is alpha of x. But what is the thing we'll get? We have to write, we don't have indefinite, we have definite. So we have to use the limits. Agree? So limits are x1 to x2. Yeah, in by parts, no, integration by parts, we'll get a plus or minus in between. Minus. So how we'll write? It is, yeah, in second